What's up, guys? It's your boy Antigua the Destroyer, and I'm back at you guys with another What If. This What If is basically about one of my favorite characters in all of Naruto who really didn't get his shine time that other characters got, and that is Neji. So the What If of series that I'm starting right now is what if Neji was Hinata's brother? I know Neji and Hinata refer to each other as brother and sister, even though they're technically cousins, but and with this What If, I will make them actually like blood siblings. So before we start, we have to first establish some things. Neji is still seen as a prodigy, as a genius of the Hyuga clan. Neji is not as much of a jerk to his siblings, but rather supportive and loving of his sisters, unlike he was to Hinata in the original canon, as he saw her as weak, but he sees the growing strength and potential of his sister. And also, one more thing to make clear: since Neji is a prodigy, I am using this so-called prodigy factor that I use in my "What if Itachi had the Renegon" video. I am making a phenomenon called the prodigy factor. That certain prodigies, Itachi, Neji, Kakashi, Sasuke, and to some degree, all have rapid or faster progression of skills, or stronger bases. And I'm giving Neji's Byakugan the purest and strongest since he is of the main family, rather than the branch family. So our background is Neji's born into the main family before Hinata, a year before Hinata, and 6 years before Hinabi. Neji's prodigal battle power was quickly evident from a young age. As a result, he was given the extremely harsh training that Hinabi received in canon, but it was given to Neji. So he finishes at the top of his class, just like he does in canon. His personality-wise, he's similar to late part one slash part two. However, one thing that is different is he has different chakra natures, which will come into play a lot later. He has lightning, fire, and water. In the original canon, Neji was already seen as a prodigy due to his absurd mastery of the Juken and his ability to basically learn the 8 trigram 64 palms out of nowhere and rotation out of nowhere. But now, since he already knows those things because he actually trained him in those things, he decides to experiment with his chakra natures and combine them with the Juken, something Hinata did in part 2 where she developed her gentle step twin lion fist when she infused her lightning chakra nature. But I'm doing it so that Neji can do it now since he already has the 64 palms locked down, knows it by heart. So I'm thinking, why not? Of course, Neji would assume, I would only assume that Neji would be able to experiment with different variations of the 64 palms. So the first variation I've given him two different variations. I've given him the Gentle Fist Art 8 trigram 64 palms burning style, which is like if you've seen Naruto Shippuden the movie Blood Prison, which is kind of like that fire style celestial prison that's used, which basically not only seals up the chakra points. I'm talking about the Neji 64 palms burning style. It seals up your chakra points like the normal 64 palms does, but when the opponent or the victim tries to build up chakra, it creates an intense burning sensation proportional to how many points were struck or the volume of chakra poured into each strike. I also have the Gentle Fist Art 8 trigrams 64 palms lightning style, which basically scrambles someone's nerves by fusing chakra points, lightning chakra in each chakra point. You can't control where your hand goes, your arm goes. So Neji's stronger. It causes a domino effect. So Neji's stronger, Hinata's stronger because Neji's much more willing to train with her than he was in the canon. Hinabi might be stronger. So Team Guys didn't really explore it on too much. So we skipped to the tuning exam. So Neji tuning exam is significantly stronger than he was in the original canon. He was a beast in canon, but now he's even more of a beast. It looks really, really one-sided. Before we start the tuning exams, I also want to say that Neji is not nearly as demeaning towards Rock Lee than he is in the canon, but that doesn't change Rock Lee's perspective on Neji, Sasuke as quote-unquote geniuses. So, first exam goes the same, Forest of Death goes the same, Um, Preliminaries are the same matchups and everything. But even though Lee is stronger, slightly stronger, or significantly stronger, however you want to phrase it, I still don't think he could beat Plot Armor Gara. Just because that gap is just so extreme. And then our next major change happens during the Neji versus Hinata fight. Neji doesn't have his "oh, I see everything with these eyes," his Byakugan speech where he says, "oh, by this movement of your hand I can tell you're trying to protect yourself, create a wall between us." He doesn't have that entire dialogue. That dialogue is essentially just gone. Rather than that, it's just a respectful fight between siblings. It's like, and it's intense. Don't get me wrong, they're both fighting to win. And when Neji thinks he has victory or pushes Hinata what he thinks is her limit, she surprises herself because she still has her Nindo from Naruto. That didn't go away. She still has her Nindo. So, um, Hinata still keeps going. Neji's surprised yet proud of his younger sister, but the fight still ends up similarly to canon because Hinata's still in critical condition. But rather than going for the critical killing blow in that Gideon canon, he basically picks her up, tells Hayate to call the match. He does. Neji's declared the winner, and Hinata's rushed to the hospital. So that also brings up Naruto versus Neji's match because there's not the blood oath that he made, so it's not going to be as intense as it was in the original canon. It's not going to, Naruto's not going to have to use the talk no jutsu. I mean, he still does use it. He still has his whole speech. Neji, don't get me wrong, Neji still looks down upon Naruto, but he doesn't count him out. He's not as demeaning to him as he was in the canon, but he still demeans him to an extent. So Neji's head is still swelled. He still has pride because he's the firstborn of the Hyuga, prodigy, even among the Branch family, strongest Byakugan possibly ever since the times of the Otsutsuki clan. But Neji, over the month break, Neji actually decides, hey, maybe I should train just in case Naruto, because Hinata said that Naruto never stops training, and now that Naruto knows he's fighting Neji, he has to be on top of his game. So he's like, wait, I can't just sit idly by and do nothing. So Neji trains for the 1 month. His training's very up in the air. It's open about what he'd do. Maybe learn the 128 palms. I know that was anime only, but I think it should be included. So I decided, why not give him the 128 palm jutsu. General physicality, and I also came up with a third variable that make things much more interesting, though it would cause Neji to have to swallow his pride. So the 1 month passes. We're at the Chunin exam finals. First match, since Sasuke was late, just like in canon, Naruto versus Neji. So battle starts like in canon. Naruto uses shadow clones. Neji counters with rotation. Naruto gets up, but instead, first time, he goes gentle fist start, 8 trigrams, 64 palms, lightning style, because he wants to put Naruto down out and quickly. So to scramble his body so his body wouldn't be able to react to anything. So Naruto's down for the count. Classic Naruto gets back up, but then orange chakra begins to leak out of him. It's the Nine Tails. Neji still doesn't understand the power of Naruto's Nine Tails, the Nine Tails that Naruto uses, because no one really did. It's like, oh, this weird orange chakra is coming out of him. Neji is pretty upset because he has to show off more of his jutsu in front of people. But, he walks up the side of the arena, ups his legs, leg weights. I told you Neji would be picking up a third thing, but you have to swallow his pride. So, Neji charges down the arena. Top speed, maximum speed. Gentle fist art. 8 trigrams, 64 palms, fire style. Each strike, Naruto feels like Neji's fingers are being burned into him. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms of burning fire chakra just blazing into Naruto's chakra points. Naruto on the ground screaming, hot, 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 and like how he does. Then he roars. Neji's startled, jumps back, tries to gain some distance, sees the same malevolent chakra rise from Naruto, the Nine Tails, the power of the Kyuubi again. Naruto charges at him and Neji with inhuman speed. Neji in a panic, just like in Ken, uses rotation. Naruto breaks the rotation, much to Neji's surprise, and grabs him by the collar, flings him into a wall. Now, normally this may have been able to take Neji out, but not this Neji because he's upgraded his physicality more and stuff. So he gets back up from the wall. Naruto's still coded. Neji focuses Byakugan, focuses chakra into his feet to enhance his speed, and then goes into his ultimate technique. 8 trigrams, 128 palms. He hits Naruto with the jutsu as fast as he can, but Naruto's just right on top of him, opening each chakra point as soon as it struck. Neji doesn't realize this is not going to work, and then tries to gain some more distance and tries to end it at once because Neji is kind of running low on chakra because of all those big moves and chakra to the feet. Those strikes are starting to add up. So they have their signature clash. Neji looks up, sees the clone of Naruto, but he doesn't know it's a clone. And Neji gets the signature uppercut from hell. Like, what can I say? Neji looks at him and says, "What are you?" Neji says to Naruto. Well, Naruto says this to Neji. "I'm a person who changed, and you can do it too, because unlike me, you're not a failure." Neji doesn't really apply this to himself as much, but he really thinks about the branch families and how they have set destinies. He said, "I can change my destiny, but other people can't. But this Naruto kid, has shown me that everyone's destiny can be changed." So he just absorbs that fact in, and right before Neji passes out, he hears Naruto whisper, "When I become Hokage, I'll change the Hyuga." Neji whispers before he passes out, "Thank you, Naruto. Thank you." So Naruto is declared the winner of the match. Neji is escorted to the hospital bed where Hiyashi, Hinata, Hinabi all await him as he recovers. Konoha Crush happens. Naruto has a much tougher time against Gaara than in canon. So the rest of the matches happen. Naruto has a much tougher time against Gaara in canon because the battle of Neji was that much more taxing. But at the end, Naruto still wins. Gives Gaara the headbutt from hell. Third Hokage still dies. And story stays with canon. Tsunade becomes the 5th Hokage. And next time we will pick it up at the Sasuke Retrieve arc. Thank you guys. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I will be coming up with new what ifs, hopefully every day, if not every other day. Thank you so much. Asanto's the Destroyer, and I'm out.